I mean, you've been there, right? We all have. Staring at a relationship that's in ruins, or a career that is totally stalled out, or maybe a personal goal that's just a pile of rubble. That feeling, that overwhelming, where do I even start feeling, that's exactly where our story begins today.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with what seems like an impossible task. Then we'll uncover the secret blueprint that was used to solve it. We'll see how deep faith and super detailed planning can actually work together. And finally, we'll bring it all home and see how this ancient wisdom can completely transform our own rebuilding projects today.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story centers on this guy named Nehemiah. He's a high-ranking official serving the king of Persia, and one day he gets some absolutely devastating news from his homeland, Jerusalem.
Now, to really get how bad this was, you have to understand something. The main temple, the center of their worship, had actually already been rebuilt. But without walls, the city was completely defenseless. I mean, imagine having a beautiful house, but with no doors or locks. The people had zero security, no dignity, and they were constantly at risk.
And this is Nehemiah's first critical step. It's so telling. He doesn't immediately jump into action. He doesn't create a task force. He doesn't start drawing up plans. No. His first move is internal. He lets himself feel the full weight of the problem, and he channels all that grief, all that desperation, directly into prayer.
So you have to be asking, how in the world did he pull this off? Well, Nehemiah was operating from a pretty unique philosophy, a really powerful blueprint that fueled his incredible success.
We're calling this spiritual architecture, and here's what it means, really. It's the idea that whatever you build on the outside, in your job, your family, your community, is a direct result of the foundation you've built on the inside. It's this incredible meeting point where deep spiritual trust gets combined with brilliant, practical action.
And get this, before Nehemiah even mentions the project to the king, before he picks up a single stone, he spends 4 months in focused prayer and fasting. 4 months. This wasn't just some quick, hey, help me out prayer. This was him laying the foundation. It built up his own internal strength and gave him the clarity and resilience he was going to desperately need to face the enemies he knew were coming.
So what does this look like in the real world? It's not 50-50. It's not 50% faith and 50% of your own effort. No, the blueprint asks for something way more radical. It's a total, all-in commitment on both fronts.
The blueprint works like this. You give 100% of your trust to a power greater than yourself, believing the way will be made. And, at the same time, you give 100% of your own human effort, your creativity, your hard work, doing everything you can to make it happen. That combination, that's the secret sauce.
So, after all that internal prep work, how did it translate into action? Well, after 4 months of prayer, Nehemiah wasn't just sitting around waiting for a miracle to fall out of the sky. No way. He had a plan, and it was a very, very good one.
This wasn't just faith, it was faith with a strategy. I mean, look at this progression. He starts at the top, getting the king's permission. Then he handles logistics, getting the materials and a security detail. But step 3 is pure genius. Before he tells anyone what he's doing, he goes out at night by himself to inspect the damage and gather his own intel. Only after he's done his homework does he create the actual blueprint and share the vision with the people. It's just a masterclass in preparation.
All right, now for the actual construction. And let's be real, rebuilding a city's walls is a massive project, especially when you have enemies actively trying to stop you at every turn. This is where Nehemiah's leadership really, really shines.
So what made him so effective? Well, sources point to this incredible blend of qualities. You can totally see the spiritual architecture at play, right? His love, his prayer, his faith, that was the foundation. But that foundation supported some serious practical skills: planning, determination, and mobilization. He wasn't just a visionary. He was a get-it-done kind of guy. And here's his truly genius move. He didn't just form one giant construction crew. Nope. He assigned different families and groups their own section of the wall to rebuild. A lot of times it was the part right in front of their own houses. And just like that, this wasn't about rebuilding the wall anymore. It was about rebuilding my wall. He created this incredibly powerful sense of personal ownership and shared purpose.
So the wall gets built, and it gets built in an unbelievable 52 days. 52! But this whole explainer, it isn't really about building a wall. It's about what that wall was for. That physical structure served a much deeper spiritual purpose.
So yeah, on the surface, the physical purpose was obvious. Security, protection from their enemies, and that alone was a huge win.
But Nehemiah, our spiritual architect, was playing a much bigger game. He wasn't just building a wall, he was building a sanctuary.
And this gets to the absolute heart of the whole project. The walls created crucial boundaries. With gates that could actually be shut, they could finally enforce the Sabbath as a day of rest, protecting their culture and their faith. The wall created a safe, defined space where the community could come together, renew their commitments, and restore their identity. The physical structure made the spiritual renewal possible.
Okay, so what does a story about some ancient wall have to do with us today? Honestly, everything. This blueprint is absolutely timeless.
Here's how we can apply this right now. Think about it. The walls in our lives are the positive structures we build. A consistent daily routine, that's a wall that protects your focus from all the distractions, so creativity can flourish inside. A budget, that's a wall that protects your financial future from impulse spending, creating the security you need. Setting healthy boundaries in a relationship, you guessed it, that's a wall that protects your emotional well-being, creating a safe space for trust to be rebuilt.
So as we wrap this up, I really want to leave you with this question. What wall in your life is in ruins? Is it your health, your connection with your family, your personal growth? And maybe more importantly, what's your first blueprint step? Maybe it's not about drawing up some huge grand plan just yet. Maybe, like Nehemiah, it's simply taking the time to sit with the problem, to reflect, and to prepare your own heart for the incredible rebuilding work that's just ahead.